Welcome back to the White Coat Classroom. In this module, we would be studying about the attachments on the femur. So without wasting time, let's get started. Starting with the attachments on the upper part, with the head part. On the head, we have this depression, the fovea. So over fovea, we have attachment of the round ligament, also called as ligamentum femoris. Let's learn the attachments on the greater trochanter of femur. So on greater trochanter of femur, we have 6 attachments and all the 6 are insertions of muscle. So we have piriformis muscle, gemelli muscle, obturator internus and externus both, and we have gluteal muscles including gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. So let's study about them. Starting with the piriformis muscle. So piriformis muscle is inserted on the apex part or the apical part of the greater trochanter. So over here we have insertion of the piriformis muscle. The next we have is the gluteal muscles. So on the greater trochanter's anterior surface, we have roughened part, we have lateral roughened part. So over this lateral roughened part, we have insertion of the gluteus minimus muscle. While on the lateral surface of the greater trochanter, we have insertion of the gluteus medius muscle. So we have ridge on the lateral surface. This is that ridge. Over it, there is insertion of the gluteus medius muscle. After that, let's see the attachment of the obturator muscle. So on the medial surface, we have this roughened superior part. So over here, we have insertion of the obturator internus muscle over the medial surface, over the rough superior impression. And here we have is the trochanteric fossa. So in the trochanteric fossa, we have insertion of the obturator externus muscle. Talking about the gemelli muscles are inserted along with the obturator internus muscle. After the greater trochanter, let's study about the lesser trochanter. So we have 2 insertions again on the lesser trochanter. So we have psoas muscle and the iliacus muscle. So this is the apex of lesser trochanter. So on the apex and the medial part of the anterior surface. So this is the anterior surface. It is the medial left part of the anterior surface. So over here and at the apex, we have insertion of psoas major muscle. And at the base of this lesser trochanter over here, we have insertion of the iliacus muscle. So we have psoas muscle and the iliacus muscle over the lesser trochanter of femur. After the lesser trochanter, let's study about the intertrochanteric line. So this is the intertrochanteric line, and over this intertrochanteric line, we have attachment of the capsular ligament of hip joint. So we have 2 bands of the capsular ligament, that is the iliofemoral ligament. So we have upper band of iliofemoral ligament and the lower band of iliofemoral ligament attached over this intertrochanteric line. After it, on the intertrochanteric rest, we have quadrate tubercle. So this is the quadrate tubercle on the intertrochanteric crest. So over this tubercle, we have insertion of the quadratus femoris muscle. Now let's study about the attachments on the shaft. This is the upper end of femur. This is the shaft of femur. So what we are observing is the anterior surface of the shaft of femur. This would be the medial surface and this would be the lateral surface. So over the shaft of femur, the first muscle which we would be studying is the vastus intermedialis muscle. So vastus intermedialis muscle arises from the upper 3/4 surface. So this is the shaft and this is the anterior surface. So approximately from the upper 3/4 of the anterior and the lateral surface. So from the upper 3/4 of anterior and the lateral surface, we have origin of the vastus intermedialis muscle. The next muscle we have is the vastus lateralis muscle. So the vastus lateralis muscle, the highest fibers arises from the intertrochanteric line. So this is the intertrochanteric line. So from this region, from the upper part of the intertrochanteric line, the highest fibers arises, and then from the anterior inferior aspect of the greater trochanter. So this is the anterior inferior aspect of the greater trochanter. So this arises from over here, and it moves laterally and posteriorly. So let's see how. So when we will be turning it, we will see the gluteal tuberosity. So it arises from the lateral margin of the gluteal tuberosity, and this gluteal tuberosity is inferiorly continuing as the linea aspera inferiorly. So it would be continuing like this and it would be arising from the upper half of the linea aspera. The next we have is the vastus medialis muscle. Vastus medialis muscle, the highest fibers arises from the lower part of the intertrochanteric line. So this is the intertrochanteric line. From the lower part of the intertrochanteric line, the next one we have is the spiral groove. This is the spiral groove. So from the lower part of intertrochanteric line, it runs like this in the spiral groove, turning medially. We have is the medial lip of linea aspera. So we can appreciate this as the medial lip of linea aspera. So it would be continuing like this over the medial lip of the linea aspera. And inferiorly, it would be running towards the median supracondylar line. So this is the medial supracondylar line. So it would be running like this. So it would be arising from the intertrochanteric line, spiral groove. Then it would be running like this over the medial lip of linea aspera and medial supracondylar line. Now, after the origin of the three vastus muscles, we will be saying about the gluteus maximus muscle. So, there is insertion of the gluteus maximus muscle over the gluteal tuberosity and pectineus line. This front part is nothing but the gluteal tuberosity part, and this is the pectineal line. So, over here we have insertion of the half of the gluteus maximus muscle. After the gluteus maximus, let's see the attachments on the linea aspera. So, this is the medial lip of linea aspera. So, over the medial lip of linea aspera, we have attachment of the vastus medius muscle. So, over here completely we have vastus medius muscle. While on the lateral lip of the linea aspera, we have attachment of the vastus lateralis muscle. So, we have vastus medius this side, vastus lateralis this side. And in between the two, we have attachment of the adductor magnus muscle. So we have vastus medialis, adductor magnus and vastus lateralis. Now, on this line, between the vastus medialis and adductor magnus, we have adductor longus as well as adductor brevis. So the sequence is like vastus medialis, then is the adductor longus, adductor brevis, then is the adductor magnus muscle. Behind the adductor magnus muscle, we have biceps femoris muscle. So then we have adductor magnus, then biceps femoris, and the last structure is nothing but the vastus lateralis. So let's revise it from medial to the lateral side. We have is the vastus medialis, then we have is the adductor longus, adductor brevis, adductor magnus, biceps femoris, and the vastus lateralis muscle over the linea aspera. Now, we are observing the lower end of femur from the posterior aspect. So this side is the lateral side, this side is the medial side. So on the lateral side, we have this lateral supracondylar line. So from this lateral supracondylar ridge, we have origin of plantaris and upper part of lateral head of gastrocnemius. From this region above, we have origin of the plantaris muscle, and just below the origin of plantaris muscle, we have the lateral head of gastrocnemius muscle. Gastrocnemius arises from two heads, the medial head and the lateral head. So this is the area from where the lateral head of gastrocnemius gets its origin. Talking about its medial end, the medial end arises from the popliteal surface from its medial side. So this is the popliteal surface of the medial side. From here, gastrocnemius gets its medial head origin. Now, after that, we are seeing the femur from the anterior aspect. So the medial condyle, this is the lateral condyle. So this is the medial condyle, and on the medial condyle, we have this elevation is called as medial epicondyle. And to the medial epicondyle, there is attachment of a ligament called as tibial collateral ligament. Along with that, we have presence of a tubercle over here. This is called as the adductor tubercle. And to the adductor tubercle, we have attachment of the adductor magnus muscle. So, the ischial head of the adductor magnus, the head which arises from the ischium part of the pubic bone, gets attached to the adductor tubercle over here. After it, let's see the lateral condyle. This is the lateral condyle. This prominent part is the lateral epicondyle part. And there is attachment of fibular collateral ligament on the lateral epicondyle. Along with that, there is presence of the popliteus muscle. So this is a groove which is present over here. So from this groove, there arises the popliteus tendon. Now, after studying about the two condyles, let's study about the intercondylar notch. So we are observing femur from its posterior aspect, and this is the intercondylar notch. This is the lateral condyle. This is the medial condyle. We will be observing two ligaments, the anterior cruciate ligament and the posterior cruciate ligament. The anterior cruciate ligament, it arises from the medial surface of the lateral condyle. So let's see how. So this is the lateral condyle. This is its lateral surface. It is the medial surface. So from its medial surface, from this smooth area, we have origin of the anterior cruciate ligament. Anterior cruciate ligament arises from the medial surface of the lateral condyle. While talking about the posterior cruciate ligament arises over here. This is the lateral surface of the medial condyle. This is the medial condyle. This is its lateral surface, and it is the medial surface of the medial condyle. So from the lateral surface of the medial condyle, there arises the posterior cruciate ligament. And that's it about the anatomy and the attachments of the femur. And if you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you find the content useful, share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching.